Hello, Stephan here with Liquidity with a basic introductory overview of the 4 German noun cases. Nominative, accusative, dative, and genitive.
Liquidity.
German is a highly inflected language, which means that the endings of words in many cases change depending on the grammatical context, which of course also affects the meaning of the words within a sentence, within its context, and also the utility, how it is used, what purpose it serves within the sentence. English used to have quite a few more inflections than it does today, but even today we can see some. For instance, for the third person conjugation of verbs in the present tense, we add an S. We say she walks instead of she walk, right? That just doesn't sound right. We also have the S for plural endings. We also have certain pronouns that change their form depending on how they're used. So we have not only they, but we have them and we have their, right? So those are all inflections that still exist in the English language. German has 4 noun cases, and at first sight that may be a little bit confusing, but they're not really all that different from how English works. We can still make connections with how English works. English actually used to have cases too. It just lost those, and it uses more of a simplified grammar to replace those. But in some cases you could say, for instance, the genitive case still exists, and I'll go over some examples to show you what I mean by that. In German, when we use declensions, when we decline nouns and pronouns, usually what changes is the pronoun itself, or if I have a noun, it's the article, the definite or indefinite article that goes along with that noun. Only in a few cases will you see also an ending to a noun change. By the way, German has 3 specific grammatical genders, so every noun has a grammatical gender, either masculine, feminine, or neutral. When you learn German vocabulary, make sure with nouns that you always study the article that goes along with it. So der for masculine nouns, die for feminine nouns, and das for neutral nouns. That's why in my videos I often use the article along with the noun in German, just to be more specific, just to be more precise. Always study those together. The nominative case, or in German we call it der nominative, is the most basic of the 4 German cases. It's used basically when a noun is the subject of a sentence. I'll give you an example. Der Hund spielt. The dog is playing. Very, very simple. The accusative case, or der accusative in German, is used for nouns that are the direct object of a sentence, that are the direct recipient of an action. For instance, I could say, ich sehe den Hund. I see the dog. Ich, that would be the subject of the sentence, the person who does something, right? Sehe, obviously, is the verb. And then den Hund, that would be in the accusative case. You can see there's an N instead of an R in the nominative. And that is the direct recipient of the action, sehen. The dative case, or in German we would say der Dativ, is used when a noun or a pronoun is the indirect object of a sentence. That means that it is often the recipient of the direct object. And I'll give you a specific example in a second here. In English, very often you will see prepositions like to and for added to that noun for clarification. In German, we could say, ich gebe dem Hund den Ball. I give the dog the ball. Or if I wanted to be a little bit more specific or a little bit clearer, I could say, I give the ball to the dog. So in my German sentence here, ich gebe dem Hund den Ball, we have the subject, which is ich. We have gebe, which is give, that's the verb, obviously. Then dem Hund, that's the recipient of the direct object. You can see the article changed from der to dem. So instead of der Hund, we have dem Hund. And then we have den Ball, which is the direct object. That's actually the accusative case. And therefore it's den Ball. I saved the genitive case for last because it's a little bit different. It's not a direct or an indirect object. It's certainly not the subject of the sentence. This is the possessive case, which still to some extent exists in English actually. So in German we would call that der Genitiv. And the genitive case is pretty straightforward. It actually has an S ending very often, just like in English. So, for instance, I could say, das ist der Ball des Hundes. That is the ball of the dog. But doesn't sound so good in German, but sounds better in English. I could also say, das ist des Hundes Ball. That is the dog's ball. So in English, actually, that sounds better, right? One area that's a little bit confusing, a little bit more complex is the issue of prepositions and cases. So certain prepositions take certain cases. And it's never the nominative case. It's either the accusative, dative, or the genitive case. Genitive cases don't apply in as many situations as accusative and dative cases. Those are more common. And sometimes it also depends on how I use a certain preposition. So for instance, you could say, ich gehe über den Fluss. I'm going over the river. Since I have a verb of motion, über is followed by the accusative case, über den Fluss. If I said that I was standing over the river, ich stehe über dem Fluss, I have a stationary verb. I'm not moving, I'm in place. Ich stehe über dem Fluss, I'm standing over the river. That would require the dative case. So same preposition, but a different grammatical situation. Therefore, I need a different case. That one can be a little bit tough. Watch my other videos. There are lots of examples of different cases. Some of them are short videos, some of them are regular length videos. If you enjoy my channel, if you enjoy my other videos, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Mach's gut.